Every time you hear a strange story, they tell you it's just a legend. Stories of people who were scared or imagining things. But what if the stories are true? Documented cases, names, dates, audio recordings, and witnesses, stories that official agencies tried to bury simply because they are impossible to explain. Today, we open 3 files, the strangest cases to ever come out of the isolated wilderness. Stay with me, because file number 1 might change how you see reality forever. Our first file takes us to Alaska, a place bigger than Texas and far less explored. The story of Portlock doesn't begin in the 1940s. It goes all the way back to the 1700s, when Russian explorers refused to enter the surrounding forest. They claimed it belonged to something they called the Dark Hairy Ones. Fast forward to 1930. Portlock was a booming fishing town. Small, isolated, but full of life. Until the shadows started moving, hunters reported being followed by something walking on 2 legs, huge footprints, strange whistles, and that constant feeling that someone was pacing them from tree to tree. Then in 1949, experienced woodsman Andrew Kamluck went missing. He wasn't new. He wasn't careless. He simply vanished. His body was found days later, crushed, not bitten like a bear attack, but smashed by a single unbelievable blow. Even the official report couldn't explain it. Then a second body, then a third. Then 2 men vanished in a single day. The locals knew exactly what this was. They called it the Nantinaq. Not an ape, not an animal, something intelligent, something territorial. By late 1949, the attacks got bold. Families reported heavy banging on their cabins at night. Men patrolled the village with rifles, but dogs refused to enter the woods. And then, it got too close. Witnesses claim they saw a massive figure enter the village perimeter through the fog. Silent, watching. The town didn't vote to defend itself. They voted to leave, and in less than a week, every resident abandoned Portlock. Homes, furniture, everything. The U.S. Postal Service officially closed the town in 1950. To this day, Portlock remains abandoned, not because people can't live there, but because nobody wants to test what lives in those trees. In 1950, the town was officially declared dead. To this day, no one dares to resettle there. The ruins of Portlock stand as a warning, a reminder that in those woods, we are not the hunters. We are the prey. In 1971, a group of experienced hunters set up camp deep in the Sierra Nevada mountains. These weren't kids looking for ghosts. These were disciplined, serious outdoorsmen. The first night, something surrounded their shelter. Not animals, whatever it was, it communicated. Ron Moorhead, one of the men, placed a microphone outside the shelter, and what they captured is now known as the Sierra Sounds. The audio is still public. You can listen to it yourself. The creatures weren't just screaming. They were speaking. Fast, aggressive syllables, back and forth exchanges, almost like a heated argument. Years later, the tapes were given to Scott Nelson, a former U.S. Navy crypto-linguist, a man trained to decode Russian, Vietnamese, and encrypted communications. He analyzed the sounds expecting a hoax, but his conclusion shocked everyone. He said, "The vocal range exceeds human capacity. These are not human voices, and they follow a linguistic structure, syntax. Let that sink in." A trained military linguist said the recordings form a language, not random noise, not animal calls. The footprints found at the camp were enormous, 18 inches long. But the most terrifying detail, when the hunters tried mimicking the sounds, the creatures responded, immediately, as if they understood. To this day, no audio engineer has been able to replicate the Sierra sounds using human vocal cords. If these recordings are real, then something out there is intelligent, and it understands us far better than we understand it. Our final file doesn't involve a monster or a recording. It's something psychological, something environmental, something we don't have a name for. Researchers call it the OZ factor. It's reported by thousands of hikers, hunters, and rangers. It starts the same way every time, the silence. Not silence like a peaceful forest. Silence like someone muted the entire world. No wind, no birds, no insects, just nothing. Victims describe feeling suddenly disconnected from reality, as if they stepped into a bubble. One case from Tennessee is especially chilling. A hunter, sitting in a tree stand, felt the forest turn off. He noticed a ripple in the air, like heat distortion, but shaped like a person. He couldn't move, couldn't scream, just watched it, watching him. Then everything went back to normal, except when he checked his watch. 3 hours had passed. He remembered maybe 5 minutes. Scientists try to explain this with infrasound, low-frequency sound waves that cause panic and hallucinations. Tigers use it, whales use it, but the question remains, what is using it in the woods? Thousands of missing 411 survivors report the same sequence: the silence, the dread, the distortion, the missing time. So here is the warning: if you ever find yourself in the woods and everything suddenly goes quiet, turn around. Don't investigate. Don't wait, because whatever causes the OZ factor doesn't want to be seen. So these were the 3 real cases science won't explain. Portlock, the town that fled a physical predator. The Sierra tapes, recordings of a language not spoken by humans. And the Oz factor, the glitch that may be linked to thousands of disappearances. If you want a part 2, the Glimmer Man, the stairs in the woods, the underground bases, tell me in the comments. Stay safe and trust your instincts, especially when nature goes quiet.